What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Sonny here, back at it with another Neverwinter video. And sorry about the delay on this one. I just been a little tangled up with some shit, and I got a little bit busy and distracted. But this video is another requested one by one of you guys in the comments. Shout out Jay. But yeah, this is gonna be a heal it in kind of build, or whatever. I don't want to call just what you want to run. In my opinion, because I have completed it. And LOM isn't really that hard if you use the right encounter powers, right? No matter what class you're on, you're going to get through it eventually. And being on the healer, you have to get past the CC, and that's probably your biggest bet. And then the lightning from the worm. I couldn't think of it. Oh shit, brain fart. Okay. Let's start with the stats. I went with Wisdom and Charisma. You can go with Dex. It's just personal preference. Dex is movement speed, and then the critical severity plays with healing. When we get to that, you'll understand. All right. For stats, you definitely want to have power and maximize critical strike. Okay. I'm not a healer main, so I don't know like all the numbers and everything for. But from everybody, and I run it myself on my cleric, so you definitely want to maximize your critical strike should be higher. There's plenty of videos out there explaining that specifically, and the numbers behind it. But you always want your critical strike, as high as you can. I've seen OPs with almost 200k, so it gets pretty crazy. Also, another thing is Outgoing Healing, and there's only companions and Boons will give you Outgoing Healing. For this dungeon, you don't need a crazy amount, so you can run a couple companions or run the Boons or whatever the case is. But I would say for LOM, a good number, maybe 30%, and that might be a little bit on the higher end of the spectrum. It also just depends on what your crit is too, because like I said, that plays into effect with the healing mechanic. But let's just jump into the bread and butter real quick. At wills, Valeria Strike, and Radiant Slam. You can use Cure Wounds. I mean, just a personal preference. This is kind of just like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's still recharging. Okay, so whenever it's done. Dailies, Shield of Faith, and Lay of Hands. Okay, you can use Divine Judgment for more damage, maybe to knock out one of the mimic chests, but I prefer saving my dailies for when I'm in a pickle. Like I said, when you're on the CC, you're going to want to have your daily hopefully ready. And for the boar worm, when you're shooting that electricity at you, you want to have it. But here's that heal. I mean, it does give you some AP back. So I mean, it's not a bad choice. Like I said, it's just a small heal. It's not bad for just playing around, maybe going from mob to mobs. Okay, for class features, Aurora of Restoration and Timely Intervention, you can also use Composure for your Divinity 10% faster. Of course, that is your healings. We didn't go over encounters. Shit. Alright, we just skipped encounters. I don't know how that happened. Sacred Weapon, Divine Shelter, Bond of Virtue. Okay, you can play with these. Ones that I wouldn't really get rid of, Divine Shelter is your bread and butter heal, in my opinion. Bond of Virtue is one of those things where it's like, oh shit, they're about to die. Let me throw this on him and get him healed up real quick. Circle of Power, Circle of Divinity, sorry. This increases our outgoing healing as well. So maybe you want to get rid of Bond of Virtue and Circle of Divinity. But the two that usually always stay for me is Sacred Weapon and Divine Shelter. The one that kind of I play around with the most is Bond of Virtue. Sometimes I'll swap out Circle of Divinity when we're doing the worm, just to give me that much better, or give them that much more healing. Class feats. Okay, critical touch. This is one of like your bread and butter things. That's why you always want to be attacking, or at least doing that other. There it is, critical touch. Boom. When you see that, like on this guy, that blue bard in Move at All, but that's just because this guy has nothing. But for those of you who this is your main, obviously you're running a dungeon. But yeah, your blue bar, it gets crazy. You can have. That's why everybody kind of wants an OP just for that overshield, because you can get this maxed out all the way. You know, you can max. I've seen people max out tanks. You know, if they have enough income healing. That's why, you know, playing on an OP is really good. And if you know what you're doing, it can be even better. Truthfully, I feel like this is one of the more sought after things. You know, for Lam, for Tom, anything. You know, OPs are pretty damn OP. Moving on, prayer of opportunity, enduring spirit. I mean, a couple of these you could play around with. I use divine intervention, lay on hands. Is what sometimes I use when the CC. You know, that just bumps them right out real quick. Boom, done. Don't even have to worry about it. Or you know, if you use Shield of Fate more, then obviously you would want this one. This goes into integration with the Shield of Fate and Mercy of Warding. I probably butchered that one word, but yeah. I mean, there's not really too much to it. I don't want to make this video too long. If you guys do have any more questions, let me know that in the comments. But yeah, I mean, just run these powers. You know, like I said, you definitely want to max out your critical strike along with your power. Uh, you know, the defense and hit points are just going to come along with the gear. Truthfully, I don't know about. I haven't seen too many good OPs with like high offensive stats as well as keeping high critical strike, because you know you're going to want to run certain rings with just pure crit on them if possible. Same thing with the companion. You're just going to want pure crit. And this is only LOM. I mean, there's Tom out there, you know, but this is just for completing LOM, so I don't want to go too in depth with it. But yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything. Maybe besides the boons, we can just go through these real quick. Go for power, of course. Hit points. Companion influence, for sure. Those are the big ones. So power, the hit points. Companion influence, the critical strike one, which is right here. And then from there you could go with definitely outgoing healing, and you can go with increased recharge rate. You can go with increased critical severity, which will help out with when you heal, when you critical heal. That's going to be big because that kind of helps with the healing. And for your master boons, for LOM, I would go with this one, Blessed Advantage, or you can go with Blessed Resilience. Either one. This increase helps with the stamina regen of the tank, so you know they can put it up more. So that's a big one. But this one reduces the recharge of abilities. So you know, either way, it's kind of not a bad choice here. But yeah. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let's see, maybe we get 5 likes on this video. Anyway, it's been your boy Sonny here, and I will check you guys out in the next one.